Welcome
Yes.
everyone to a very special episode of the Geeky Juans. I am Steven. Next to me is Jude. And next to Jude is our special guest, Niki Lopez, the creator of Santiago of the Seas on Nick Jr. So we have 20 minutes, right? As said earlier. So we will go through the questions right away. First of all, how are you doing with all this?
Good.
With all-
I guess. I feel bad saying good. It's kind of wild, but present.
Mm.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, sounds
present.
All right. So the first question is, how did you get your start in the animation industry?
So I started as an intern at Nickelodeon, summer 2010, on a production called Kung Fu Panda: Legends of Awesomeness.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. That was like the best training ground to build myself up in this incredible industry. So after this summer, after I interned this summer, I was very lucky to be hired as a full-time production assistant on the show. And again, it was like the most epic school that I could have hoped for to really grasp the inner workings of the animation industry and productions. So after 2 years working as a PA, I got hired eventually as a color designer, which is to say a painter, on what was it? Fairly Odd Parents. I worked on
Nice.
Fairly Odd Parents. Yep. And right after Fairly Odd Parents, I got adopted by the wonderful crew of Harvey Beaks.
Oh,
I
love that show. I love that show.
Oh my gosh! And the crew was some of the best people that I've worked with in the industry. Definitely were on that show. So after Harvey, I then got rescued by the folks at Glitch Tech. And I worked there.
Nice.
Yeah. I worked on
It's on
Glitch
Netflix
Tech.
right now.
Yeah. Have you guys seen it?
I haven't had the chance to see it yet, but I do know that a lot of I think a large portion of the Harvey Beaks crew kind of got absorbed there. I think, or like a fair number.
A few designers actually. You're right. There was an environment designer that certainly got brought onto that show. Myself, I don't know if a lot of the board artists did because a fair amount went on to work at Disney. The Houghton brothers got a show picked up. So
Oh yeah, Big City. Are
Big
we
City.
allowed to mention that?
It's okay. We're a wide animation family.
Okay.
It's very small. So a couple of people went over there. But I went with a few to Glitch Tech. And during my time there, that's when Santiago went into development. Was pretty intense.
So what was the inspiration for Santiago of the Seas?
So with Santiago, I had pitched a couple of concepts to the development team on the Nick Jr. side. I just felt like they were doing some really cool things visually for a preschool audience. And I mean, I feel that the preschool audience is one of the best because they are the audience that aren't scared to play make-believe. So if they see characters on TV, they want to be the hero, and their imagination is so rich that how cool is that? So I wanted to create something special for such an awesome audience. So after a couple of failed pitches, I had a conversation with one of the executives, and she told me, like, what was really important to you when you were little? And was like, well, I mean, I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. Our weekends consisted of going to either the rainforest, or we would go to the beach and explore caverns, and we would play make-believes that we were pirates. It also didn't help that my favorite movie was The Goonies, which has this group of friends who go on I know. So they go on pirate adventures, and I wanted to be a Goonie. So it was like all those little ingredients that got thrown into this melting pot of the idea of a Robin Hood of the high seas, a good kid who becomes a pirate and and he goes out on adventures with his friends, and he also protects his home, his island. Yeah.
Nice. So the next is so with your childhood, what were like the cartoons that you grew up with?
Oh gosh. So huge to my life, I feel. And I feel it's fairly common too for a lot of people is Sailor Moon. Sailor
Oh,
Moon.
Oh, nice.
of course.
Once you watch the show, you'll see like, oh yeah, so Sailor Moon meets pirates.
Oh, nice.
Because they have this henshin, he has his
Yeah,
compass,
yeah.
his yeah. So Santiago has a magic compass, and that allows him to transform into the pirate protector of Isla Encanto. And he has like this super cool transformation sequence. He can summon a pirate ship from the ocean. It's such a love letter to home and my childhood. It's ridiculous.
And then, how did you decide on the animation style of the show? Because compared it to like Harvey Beaks, which was more 2D animation, this is completely 3D. So how did you decide on going the 3D direction, or like how did you decide on like overall animation style?
With CG, it was particularly important, and I think that came about a lot from my experience with Kung Fu Panda. I just absolutely loved how we got to play around with the camera. So I wanted to have that same sensibility with Santiago. It's a pirate adventure, a high energy adventure on the high seas. How cool would it be if we can take that camera and put it like at low angles to see Santiago racing or parkouring through these lush environments? I wanted it to feel like our audience are part of that adventure, like they're really in there, and it feels exciting. So that was pretty much the driving element for CG.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And then Jude, you can ask the questions about the challenges on the show.
Oh
Jude.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the questions, well, yeah. Okay. What are the challenges of working on a show compared to creating a show?
Sure. Challenges working on the show. I would stress to a lot of people that they say, I want to be a showrunner, I want to be a creator. Be ready to have management skills, because it's a lot of fun. Oh my God, absolutely. It's such an honor and a privilege to have the ability to create a concept that others are interested in. But once that show is in production, you have to lead. You have to take care of your crews. You have to give directives of what needs to be done. You have to look at schedules. You have to make sure that everything is flowing, so that would be the thing, like management. Be ready to harness some management skills.
Nice.
Okay.
And then, the next question is, what were the other potential show titles before it was called Santiago of the Seas? Because I think you had, if I recall correctly, you shared it on social media before. I think that you had a different pilot title for the show.
Yep, it was initially called The Swashbuckling Adventures of Capitan Calavera.
Capitan Calavera.
Capitan Calavera. Who still exists in the concept of the show. Captain Calavera is essentially this mythical character that Santiago looks up to. It's pretty much his hero, like his Superman. And he was the original pirate protector of the island.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So as we went through development, it was like, well, it would be really weird to call the show Swashbuckling Adventures of Captain Calavera, and then the main character, his name is not Captain Calavera, it's Santiago. So, how can we change it? So that's how we landed on Santiago of the Seas.
Nice. And then Jude, the next one's about the casting, the cast.
Oh yeah. Okay. Now, how important is it to have a diverse cast for this kind of show?
It's huge. I mean, this is a show that celebrates the diversity that exists in Latino Caribbean culture. So we wanted it to be as authentic as possible in its representation. And we did a wide casting call in LA, in New York. We even looked for talent in Puerto Rico, Miami, to make sure that we landed on the right characters. Yeah,
Nice.
and we got them. They're such lovely actors, and we even got John Leguizamo, which was
Wow.
amazing.
John Leguizamo.
Yep.
That's
John
epic.
Leguizamo. Yeah, that is epic.
That's actually wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then Jude, the next one's yours.
Yeah. Okay.
About the dream guest.
So, apart from having an awesome cast, who is a dream guest you would love to have a show, and what kind of character would you want them to voice?
Because Goonies was so huge for me when I was little, I feel like they would be appropriate to do like a little salutation by having Sean Astin do a voice.
That's perfect. I mean, he's in the studio all the time before, right? With Ninja Turtles, right?
That's right. So this shouldn't be a stretch. I'm sure that the studio can try to do something.
I'm sure it's in the Rolodex somewhere. It's like, okay, Sean Astin, Greg.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
sure.
That'll be epic. And then what else? Besides Sailor, sorry, I just wanted to like add one more.
Sure.
Besides Sailor Moon, like what other cartoons did you grow up with? Because like,
yeah, of course. I used to watch a lot of Disney films, and there was not that this was a Disney film, but there was one particular film that really resonated with me. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Fern Gully.
yes,
Oh yes.
we had our reruns.
Oh
all the
my
time.
god. Okay, so maybe there's some parts of the animation that perhaps haven't aged okay, but I love that film. I loved the mythology of the forest and how they had to protect the forest from the danger. So I guess you could say that had an influence deep in my head for Santiago. Yeah, so I hope films count, but it's not TV shows only.
So
Right.
it kind of like shares. I guess Santiago would probably have the similar message of protecting the seas, right? Because like if I recall, Santiago is protecting the seas around his place, right?
Yeah. He not only protects the seas, he protects his island. It's called Isla Encanto, and the communities that exist there. And also, when he goes on adventures, there's multiple times that we see him going to different islands. Like, for example, there's one episode where there's this like ancient golden creature, and one of the other there's a naughty pirate. Well, there's 3 naughty pirates that exist in this world for now, for season 1. Actually, no, there's more than that. I'm losing count. Anyway, so there's this one naughty pirate. His name is Enrique, and he steals treasure from this ancient golden creature, and the poor creature's like trying to find where's my treasure. So Santiago helps him retrieve that treasure from that naughty pirate. It's always about helping others and really fostering empathy.
Nice. All right, Jude, you get the
Okay.
question at the bottom.
Well, there's cast, there's dream guests. Now, here's another interesting question. Now, which Nick Jr. character would you love to see Santiago of the Seas have a crossover episode with?
Since now they're part of the Nick Jr. family, I feel like it would make sense to bring Baby Shark into it.
Oh.
Actually,
That
Maybe
makes so
they
much
just help
sense.
Baby Shark. Like, let's help Baby Shark come up with a new song.
Oh my god, Baby Shark. Yeah, I mean that. Oh my god. So Baby Shark came in around 2016 or 2017 here.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was the popularity of that song is insane. I mean,
Right?
yeah, I mean,
grew up so fast.
I mean, it started in Korea, I think, and it just kept on spreading out through Asia, and then just kept on going and going, and
Mhm.
like now Nickelodeon made a show of it.
Yeah, yeah. Time flies, I guess, when you're making shows.
All right, so we are down to our last 5 minutes. We just wanted to say thank you so much, Nikki, for
Thank you
Thank
so
joining us.
much.
you.
Just one more look back to Harvey Beaks because I love that show so
Of
much.
course, I love it too. Ask me all the questions of Harvey.
All right, so what was it like on like a normal day for the Harvey Beaks production crew? What was like a normal day?
Oh gosh, I mean, I can speak of it from a development side. So our production was not like super separated, but our design team was very much focused on the task at hand, and then we had our storyboard artists who they were the best, and they were always so funny. There were always many breaks where they would play Smash Brothers. So whenever I was working, I would hear like a commotion in the how do you say, like the room next door, I guess.
Like
And
a
I was
break
like,
room, I guess.
oh yeah, so they're on their break. That's nice, or not, or maybe they were like, I don't know, they maybe hit like creativity blocks. Like, well, let's smash through the creative blocks. So yeah, it was a very collaborative environment. I would say that it was very easygoing. Communication was huge on Harvey Beaks, and we had such a brilliant line producer, Joanne Estoesta, who's actually Filipino. She's
Oh, nice.
she's the best.
Cool.
She was the one who hired me on Fairly not Fairly Odd Parents. I'm sorry, on Kung Fu Panda. So she was a manager back then, and then she became line producer on Harvey Beaks. And that's why it's so important, I think, to really take care of your relationships in the animation industry, because it's such a small community.
Yeah.
And everything has an end date. Like all productions come to an end, people shift to a different production. So because I had worked with Joanne and she had seen like how passionate I was about the work that I was doing, and then I really worked well with others, she wanted to keep that going on Harvey Beaks. And she made it a point to bring as many kind, talented, and collaborative people along with Carl. Obviously he's the showrunner, so they both wanted it to be a fun production, and I feel like they truly succeeded.
Nice. And then one last thing. I noticed that a lot of crew members of the Harvey Beaks crew ended up on the show. Nick Sumida ended up being the voice of I forgot his character's name, but it was one of
the grandma.
Yeah, the grandma. I was like, come here. And then I think the Hodden brothers also got in. Were you ever considered to like be like
to do a voice?
Character? Yeah.
Oh gosh, no. I don't know. I probably would have gotten stage fright behind the booth. But I will say that if there was one character that I really resonated with, it was definitely Piri Piri. She was my favorite. I loved her. I loved how she was so superstitious too. She had like her whole like
flowers
and very dreamy, and she was great.
Oh man. Anyway, I think that's it. That is it for our 20-minute interview with Niki Lopez. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview. Is there anything you want to plug? Of course.
Oh, sure. I mean, I hope everybody gets a chance to see Santiago of the Seas. Even if it's a preschool show, I promise that there's fun stuff for all audiences. So yeah, tune in, and I hope you like it.
All right, thank you so much. That's it for our interview with Niki Lopez, creator of Santiago of the Seas. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.